War rages across the mortal realms. New alliances are formed while others lie shattered, and the dominant powers ever seek their next conquest. While this and countless other battles rage on, one fact is becoming clear. The season of war has begun. This video is brought to you by the support of our channel members and our FLGS partner, Warpfire Minis. Baron of Dice is the exclusive dice supplier for Season of War. Take a look through their incredible designs or even get your own custom dice made.
Hello and welcome to Season of War. Tonight we are excited to bring you another game of Age of Sigmar. My name's Jordan. I'm joined by JF again today with a different army than you've ever had on the channel.
Oh yeah, the ogres.
Yes, and today I am playing the Flesh Eater Courts. We've got Usharan on the table. But before we get into lists, let's talk about the mission. We're playing Feral Foray here. We've got 6 objectives on the table. It's hold 1, hold 2, hold more for storing. The twist for this one is if you control an objective in enemy territory, you can basically turn it off for the round at the start of each round if you want to. And you do have to both control and contest an objective to do that. But if you're the underdog, you only have to contest it. You don't actually have to control it. So it can potentially affect storing, but it's not necessarily the biggest twist in the world. So JF, do you want to jump in and take us through your list?
Yes, so I'm bringing the ogres from my good friend Chuck. Hello, Chuck. He's a well-known wrestler in Quebec, so fits with the army. So I'm playing in the Prophet sub-faction, which gives my 2 wizards +1 to cast. My general is the Slaughtermaster here and has the 8 Iron Guts, which are the punchy dad buds here. They will have priority target. And then my second regiment is Mr. Urban here, the Butcher, which is my second wizard, with 12 gluttons and 6 gluttons here. He gives a aura of 12-inch run and charge to all the dad buds. The Frostlord on Stormhorn, he has the artifact touched by the Everwinter, which makes him a priest. And he has the artifact Gruesome Trophies, which gives a bubble of +1 hit against heroes and monsters. He is accompanying in his regiment with the 20 Gnobars here and 2 Frost Sabers. My manifestation lore is one that you've never seen, which is the Morbid Conjuration ones.
Yes, nice. Well, again, playing against you guys today is the Flesh Eater Courts. I'll start off with Usharan, who is my War Master and my General. In his regiment, I only have one other model, which is a Marrowstroll Herald. I'm actually going to give him the Bodyguard rule for this one, so if you're in combat with Usharan, you're going to be -1 attack, as long as he's nearby. And then I have 2 other regiments. I'm proxying the Abhorrent Cardinal here, who just is a priest and hands out some noble deed points. He's got a unit of 6 Crypt Horrors in his squad, as well as 3 Morbid Knights and a unit of 20 Ghouls. Then my last regiment is a Abhorrent Archregent and another unit of 6 Crypt Horrors. And then for my manifestation lore, I actually took the Aetherot Machineries, so we'll get to test that out today and see how it does. And then my battle formation was Lords of the Manor, so it's gonna let me return an extra model each time I return models. And for my enhancements, they're both on the Marrowstroll Herald. He's got the Charnel Vestments as an artifact, which turns him into a priest, and Cruel Taskmaster as his command trait, which allows units to rally with 3 extra dice. And with all that said, JF, we were both 3 drops here, but I won the roll-off to deploy first, and we'll have choice of who goes first because of it. And while I know you have the potential to run in charge and run across the board, I don't think you're gonna do it turn 1. So I'm gonna give away first and hope for the best. And we can just go into Ogor Mawtribes turn 1.
My battle tactic will be take the flanks with 2 units. It's going to be with the 6-pack of Gluttons and Frost Saber there. And then we will go into spell casting. I will also use the Moppet to get the Slaughtermaster as the head butcher into it. And then we will go with the prayers. We will start with the Frostlord. He's gonna attempt to do his run and charge. He gets a 5, but he will just keep the 5 points here. And then the Slaughtermaster will attempt to cast the Purple Sun on 12.
I can't unbind that.
And the Butcher will attempt to cast the Gravetide on an 8.
Try to unbind that one. And we do on an 11.
That's it for my hero phase.
I will spend a command point here for Magical Intervention with my Abhorrent Archregent, and he's going to try and cast the Chronomantic Cogs. But we'll fail because we needed a 7 on the dice. Then my Abhorrent Cardinal is going to use his Rousing Oration to try and generate some Noble Deed points, and he'll give those to the Marrowstroll Herald, and he'll get 2.
Jumping into Ogre's movement.
Remaining in a defensive position, the Ogor Mawtribes slowly inch towards their undead foe, but stay vigilant as they know not to underestimate the delusional ghouls.
That will be a very intense destruction turn 1.
Yeah, intimidating.
I moved everything. I just moved my 2 sides up for the tactic. These I don't really mind. They're really just there for that tactic and kind of threaten your objective there, but that's basically it. Here I know they're in danger from the Morbeg Knights, but if the Morbeg Knights come in, then the Frostlord will be able to go. I didn't move much. I don't mind in this edition being a bit down on points early on, get the extra CPs for the underdog and benefit the underdog mechanics. And also, if I move out too much, I fear that you'll be able to punch me like very effectively on the first turn, and then if you double, you can maybe table me or like box me in. Now I'm not threatened on either of my objectives. Like there's 10 bodies on the control points here, and there are a lot here also. So I think I'm pretty safe.
Yes, makes sense though. Like you said, you don't want to open yourself up to a brutal double by any means, but yeah, I guess that'll be it for Ogres, and we'll jump into Flesh Eater Torts, turn 1. Alright, so my battle tactic this turn is going to be take their land, and I'm going to take control of this terrain piece over here. And then in the hero phase, my Cardinal's going to start by using Rousing Oration to give my Marrowstroll Herald some Noble Deed points again. He'll get 3, so up to 5. And then the Cardinal's going to chant for the Summer King's favor on Usharan. He gets a 1, so he's going to fail. He has no points, so it doesn't matter. But then the Herald is going to chant for Charnel Conviction onto the Horrors, and also failed that on a 1. Then in my terrain piece, my Abhorrent Archregent is going to get D3 points for 2. And he'll then try and cast Deranged Transformation on my unit of Horrors. And that'll go off on a 7.
I will try to unbind it with Slaughtermaster on 11.
So that gets stopped. Then he's going to try and cast the Aether Void Pendulum, which we did off on a 9. And that will generate a Noble Deed point. Then Usharan is going to try and cast the Quicksilver Swords and get those off on a 6. And then he'll finish things off by casting the Chronomantic Cogs on a 9.
Try to unbind it. No.
And that's going to be it for my hero phase.
So I will use 1 CP for Magical Intervention on the Butcher. He will try to cast the Shackles. So on a 10, because he has +1, -1.
Try to unbind it. You get it off.
So I will activate the Shackles on the Ghouls. No! And on the Pendulum for 3.
And it'll make 1 ward save, so the Pendulum will take 2 damage. And then we'll head into movement. And that's gonna be it for my movement phase.
I will use a CP to redeploy on the 12 glutton. Attempt to deny your tactic for, come on, a 6. 3, we'll take it.
Then on to charges. I'm gonna start off with my cryptic ghouls. They're gonna make it 12. And that'll be it for my charges. So then into combat, I'm gonna start off with my Morbid Knights and use all out attack, fighting into your gluttons.
And I will use all of defense.
The Morbid Knights kill a single glutton, then the Frost Sabers use all-out attack and kill one ghoul. The Cardinal fights next but completely misses. Then the Gluttons make quick work of the Morbid Knights and wipe them out. Lastly, the Horrors take out the Shackles, and the Ghouls wipe out the Frost Sabers. Avoiding a central conflict as they're very wary of their foe, the Flesh Eater Courts look to prey upon the flanks of their enemy's force. Expecting harassment will be more in their favor than a full-on brawl.
All right, that's it for Flesh Eater Courts turn 1. We store our battle tactic. We did hold 1, hold 2, so we store 8 points, keep the game tied going into the next round. And a couple things that I didn't like about how the turn went. Actually, I put the Morbids in. I was like, okay, let's hope to kill, 3 gluttons, or like two to three gluttons, and then I likely survive. Keep them tied up for a turn, stop you from potentially taking this objective. It was obviously a bit of a risk here. It didn't go my way. Dot Clap Bat and went down. I will need to bring that unit back at some point, so that's also something you have to consider of me now having a threat that can pop up in your battlefield. And then the Shackles, you tried to test those out to slow me down, but they actually worked here kind of as a speed ramp, allow me to just charge with the ghouls rather than having to auto run them. Let me also take out your wolves. And then I was trying to get some noble deed points with my Cardinal, but he didn't get any attacks and damage through, so none there. But that'll be it for my turn. Again, tied going into round 2 now. So we can roll priority. That's cocked. It's a 3 though, so up to me. And I'm definitely not ready to drop a battle tactic, and while this may hurt, I'm gonna give away the turn. And we'll jump into Ogres, turn 2.
Okay, into Ogres turn 2. My battle tactic will be do not waver. Fight with 2 units, no unit die. We'll go into spellcasting, and we'll start with the Stonehorn. He will attempt to Meaning Gale, which is the run and charge. So 5 makes it up to 10. So he will have run and charge, and he can reroll runs and charge rolls for the rest of the turn because it's 8+. The Butcher is gonna try to cast a Blood Feast, which is on a 7, which is +1 attack characteristic on the Glutton. So that's 8.
Try to unbind it. Nope, you did it.
And then the Butcher will attempt to cast the Malevolent Maelstrom on a 6, which goes off.
Try to unbind that one, but we don't.
That will be it for my hero phase.
All right, I'm gonna start off with the Cardinal, trying to generate D3 Noble Deed points onto the Archregent. That fails. And that's it for me.
All good. Let's go to Ogre's movement phase.
I will spend a command point here to redeploy my ghouls. Moving 4 inches.
Okay, I have no shooting, so we will go on to charges. We'll start with the 5 Gluttons on my right. They have an 11-inch charge, so... We will start with the Rampage on the Stonehorn.
The Stonehorn uses Earth-Shattering Charge to reposition and deals 3 mortals to the Horrors. Then he deals 2 mortals to Ushoran with his charge, but the Mordarch wards them both. Continuing the trampling charges, the various units of Gluttons kill a Horror, deal 2 mortals to the Quicksilver Swords, and 2 more to the Horrors.
At the start of the combat phase, the Iron Guts will use their once per game fight twice, the second being strike last.
All right, and we've got a couple tricks to hopefully keep us alive here. Firstly, Ushoran's going to use his Shroud Cage Fragment to try and give out some strike last. So to the Iron Guts, I roll a 6, so they will be striking last. I assume I can use it on the Purple Sun because it's an enemy manifestation, which automatically makes the Purple Sun fight last, and then your Stonehorn is too big. And then because the Marrow Scroll Herald is in combat with the Iron Guts on a 3-up, he'll make my stuff in combat with the Iron Guts get strike first. And we did it. And we're to start off combat with Ushoran because of the strikes first and actually fight into your Frost Lord. And he will use all-out attack here.
And I will use all-out defense.
Ushoran fights first and deals a massive 11 damage to the Frost Lord. The Horrors fight next and split their attacks. But while they deal no damage to the Frost Lord, they do 14 wounds to the Iron Guts. The Marrow Scroll Herald fights next and kills another 2 Iron Guts. Then the unit of Gluttons in the east uses all-out attack and takes down both the Cardinal and the Horrors. The Quicksilver Swords go after the Gluttons to the west and kill one, but are swiftly destroyed from the retaliation. The Frost Lord fights next, dealing 2 damage to Ushoran and 3 to the Marrow Scroll Herald. Then the Purple Sun fails to deal any damage. Using down to the Iron Guts to fight twice, the central unit of Iron Guts first kills the Marrow Scroll Herald and deals 2 damage to the Horrors. Then they attack again and deal 12 damage to Ushoran. As the conflict truly breaks out, the Ogor Mawtribes hack at and feast on undead flesh, but do not come out unscathed thanks to the tricks and traps of their enemy.
So that will be Ogre's top of 2. We did our tactic because none of our unit died. And lots of Jordan's units died. They were hidden by the Gluttons.
Yep. There were an interesting couple blunders we both made in this turn. For me, you tagged my Marrow Scroll Herald, which allowed me to give strikes first, because I rolled the 3-up to the stuff in combat with your Iron Guts. Didn't really come up too big because I didn't take out the Frost Lord. But then the other blunder was I forgot I could move the pendulum in each hero phase, so I actually could have got the Iron Guts stuck in combat and not let you charge. So that would have been big, obviously, for keeping my Horrors alive. 2 big changes, like big errors on both sides, right? So we'll say it evens out.
Yeah, because if I hadn't tagged the Marrow Scroll Herald, I would have attacked with the Iron Guts first and probably took down Ushoran on their first activation there. Yeah,
you had 5 more, like he for sure would have died.
It's interesting. We're still learning, right? Yeah. We still have, you've played 2 games per week at least and then still stuff that you learn, right?
Oh yeah.
So I will score 1-2 more in tactics for the full 10.
Nice, yeah, very good turn. I'm happy to have my Ushoran obviously still alive, but the Marrow Scroll going down hurts because that's my last non-abhorrent hero to bring back little guys or bring back models. But with that, we're gonna have to try and chew our way out of this and jump into Flesh Eater Courts turn 2. All right, so for my battle tactic, we're gonna go for Do Not Waver as well. And then into the hero phase, the Archregent's going to try and generate some Noble Deed points. He'll get 3, get up to 6. I am going to slow down time again with the cogs for the -1 to hit bubble. Then the Archregent is going to try and cast Deranged Transformation on Ushoran. I fail that. Then the Archregent is going to try and use his Countless Servants ability to bring back a knight to my Horror unit on a 3-up. We fail that on a 2. Then he will try and cast Carrion Call, which we get on a 7.
I will attempt to unbind it. I don't.
All right, so the first unit that comes in or is set up in the movement phase will get a d6 move. Then Ushoran will use his Defenders of the Realm ability again this turn from the Epicenter of Delusion to give me +1 to save on objectives that I control. Then he'll try and cast Deranged Transformation on himself on a 7.
I will attempt to unbind it. on a 7.
So we get that off, so Usharan will be +2 move and +1 to wound. Then he's going to cast Carnal Feast against your Iron Guts. And that goes off with an 11. So they'll suffer D3 mortals for 2. And that lets me bring back technically 2 infantry, but I only have 1 slain here, so I'll get one of my noble lads back. And that's going to be it for my hero phase.
I will use Magical Intervention with the Butcher to cast the Shackles, try to kill Usharan with some mortal damage. I failed the spell.
All right, then into movement. And in the movement phase, I'm going to start off by bringing back a unit of 3 horrors by spending 6 noble deed points from my Archregent. And because I cast Carrion Call, they'll now get to make a D6-inch movement for 6. And then I'm going to run the Crypt Ghouls for 2. And then Usharan will spend his 6 noble deed points to return another unit as well and bring down 2 Morbag Knights. And then lastly, the Aether Void Pendulum is just going to do D6 mortals to your Gluttons for 5. And that's it for my movement phase. And then there's no shooting. I'm not going to do any charges actually. And we can head into combat and abilities. So we'll start with Usharan trying to make your Iron Guts fight last. He fails. And then the Purple Sun will fight last. And we are going to have to start off combat with Usharan. And because your Iron Guts aren't fighting last, it's a little scary. So we're going to use all our attack and split our attacks.
Not to be denied, Usharan attacks and violently finishes off both the Frostlord and the Iron Guts. Then before the Mordarch has a chance to celebrate, the Purple Sun claims his life as well. The Horrors are next to fight and take down the Purple Sun. Then the Eastern Gluttons destroy the Aether Void Pendulum. As the dust settles on the blood-soaked battlefield, the Flesh-Eater Courts deal a massive blow to their massive foe. But they do suffer their own major loss, and the true victory still hangs in the balance.
All right, so Flesh-Eater Courts turn 2, and it was almost a really good turn. I unfortunately lost Usharan to the Purple Sun. If I had not, I would have been in a place where I could potentially start rallying him back, heal up. That would have been really good, especially with a double. But losing him to basically like the exact wound is heartbreaking. And then I do control 2 objectives here, so I will still hold 1 and hold 2. But because Usharan went down, I failed my battle tactic, and that's not good. So yeah, just 4 points here for the round, so I'm going to be down 6 heading into priority. Makes me the underdog, but let's see how it goes.
A 3.
A 4 for Flesh Eaters. And at this point, I think I just need to take the board advantage here and try and do as much as I can. So let's jump into Flesh Eater Courts, turn 3.
And at the start of the battle round, I will make this objective inactive.
All right, so with taking the double, I'll have no battle tactic this turn, but I am the underdog, so I have 5 CP. And the Archregent is going to generate some points from the chair. He'll get 3. Then he'll speed up time with the cogs for the reroll charge bubble. And then the Archregent will try and cast Deranged Transformation on the Horrors. He'll fail that on a 4. Then he'll try and cast Miasma of Madness on your Gluttons on a 12.
Well, can't do anything about that.
So I'm gonna roll a bunch of dice and see what happens. We got a triple and a double. So it's gonna do two mortal wounds and make your Gluttons -1 to hit. And that's gonna be it for my hero phase.
Yes, so I will use Magical Intervention. I will attempt to cast the Gravetide. And I failed it.
All right, so into movement. And that's gonna be it for my movement phase. And then into charges, we'll start off with the Crypt Horrors first. They roll a 5. I'm gonna use the cogs to re-roll that for free. Into a 7. And that's gonna be it for my charges.
So I will use the Gnomor ability to do D3 damage on a 2-up to the horrors. I gotta do 3 damage to them.
They'll suffer them.
And then I will use a counter charge with the 12 glutton and see where that goes. 3. Not enough to go.
All right, well, I am going to then get into combat. We'll start off with the horrors over here, and they're going to use all-out attack.
The horrors kill 3 gluttons and leave just 1 alive. Then, the Slaughtermaster deals 2 damage to the Morpeg Knights. The other unit of horrors split their attacks and completely miss the manifestation, but deal a devastating 16 damage to the Noblars. The Gluttons fight next, killing a single horror, then the Morpeg Knights deal 6 damage to the Maw Pit. The Malevolent Maelstrom is last to fight and kills another 2 horrors. Feeling a little bit of desperation begin to creep in, the Flesh Eaters continue to fight tooth and nail, but the outcome of the battle balances on a knife's edge.
All right, so that's it for Flesh Eater Courts turn 3. We took the turn and tried to do the most we could with it. I will store hold 1, hold 2, hold more, because JF, you turn this objective off, so the 3 I have will give me 6 points. But doing the best we can under the circumstances. I wish I had Big Papa here still. And yeah, that'll just send us into Ogor Mawtribes turn 3.
We will do attack on 2 fronts, take back 2 of your objectives. We will use the Maw Pit ability. First on the Morbid Knight, 8d3 damage plus 1. It's 2 mortal wounds.
Okay, wards. I save 1. You don't kill a guy yet.
And I will do it on the horror there. So 3 mortal wounds.
They take him.
So into the horror there for 2.
And it takes them.
Onto spellcasting. So the Slaughtermaster is gonna attempt to cast the Purple Sun on a 9.
We'll mind it on a 10.
Oh. And then I will use the Butcher to cast the Shackles on a 5, so it fails. So that will be it for my hero phase.
All right, I will spend a command point here for magical intervention, and the Archregent's going to cast Carnal Feast on your Glutton, which we'll get with a 6.
Try unbind it. You get it.
Nice, D3 mortal wounds for 3.
Ooh.
And that means I get to bring back an infantry unit model.
Okay, let's go to Ogre's movement phase. That would be my movement phase.
I will spend a command point here to redeploy my Archregent for 6 inches.
Okay, so into charge phase, we'll charge with the 12 pack of Gluttons for an 8. And hit the Morbid Knights for 3 mortal wounds.
They take 2. All right, I am going to spend a big 2 command points here and go for a counter charge with my ghouls. We get a 9. We're in.
So I will start with the lone glutton.
The Glutton kills 1 horror, then the Morpeg Knights deal another 3 damage to the Maw Pit, but it survives with 1 health remaining. The Noblars do no damage, then the horrors are able to finish off the Glutton. The last unit of Gluttons split their attacks, taking down the Chronomantic Cogs and dealing 8 damage to the Charnel Throne. Then the ghouls wipe out the last Noblars. The Slaughtermaster fights last but fails to deal a single wound.
I will use a CP to power through with the Slaughtermaster or one mortal.
So he's up to 2.
Okay, and then I'm gonna blow the Maelstrom.
The Maelstrom kills 1 Morpeg Knight, deals 6 damage to the Slaughtermaster, kills a Horror and 2 Ghouls, then deals 3 damage to the Butcher. With losses mounting on both sides, the Ogor Mawtribes keep on trucking, doing absolutely everything they can to cling to the advantage.
So I get my tactic because I got this one back, that one back, and I control 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I do my 10 points.
I survived the turn decently.
Oh yeah. The 12th pack is out of like business a bit.
Yeah.
So
Just trying to chase around and score objectives.
Yeah.
But priority,
a 2.
3, and we might as well take it with Flesh Eaters, and yeah, jump into Flesh Eater Courts, turn 4. All right, so my battle tactic this turn is going to be attacked on 2 fronts. I have to take 2 objectives, one of which you controlled. You turned this one off before, so I'll be able to use that as one. And then into casting, we're gonna start by casting Deranged Transformation on these horrors on the left. We'll get that off on an 8.
Trying to mine it. You get it?
So they'll get +2 to their move and +1 to wound. And then the Archregent is going to try to return a model to that unit on a 3-up. We fail it. And then the Archregent will just cast Miasma of Madness on your Gluttons. And get that on a 6.
You get it.
So this turn, it'll do 2 mortal wounds and make them -1 to hit again. And then my horror units are both going to heal D3. So this first unit heals 1, and the other unit heals 1 as well. And then I will spend a command point here to rally my horrors in the center, just because I don't want them to lose a model to the Mawpot. And he'll heal the 1 wound.
On my side, I will use a Mappa on the horrors, and it's gonna be 2 mortal wounds.
And I'll take 2.
And then I will use a CP to rally the Slaughtermaster, but he heals only 1. And then I will use Magical Intervention on the Butcher. And I fell in my shackle.
And then into movement, I'm going to use at the double on my 2 horrors over here, so that with the +2 movement, they'll be moving 15 inches. And that's going to be it for my movement phase. So charges, we'll go with the horrors first. And they just barely make it in. And that's all my charges. So into combat, we'll start off with the Cryptid Ghouls actually. And we will use all an attack here.
The Ghouls kill the Butcher, then the Slaughtermaster takes out a Horror through all-out defense.
All right, then I did a little risky here. We have 9 attacks in that horror unit. I'm gonna put 6 of them into the Slaughtermaster and 3 into the Maw Pit.
I'm gonna all defend the Slaughtermaster then.
The risk pays off as the Slaughtermaster and the Maw Pit both go down, though the Charnel Throne also goes down thanks to the Gluttons.
All right, so with Flesh Eaters winning priority here, that was big because it let me do exactly this, spread out. I don't have a lot of strength left, but with the recursion, it's just units in different places is really good. As we saw with the extra movement, I was able to tag this objective, and it'll give me the battle tactic. Completing that, I actually took 3 objectives. So I'll get hold 1, hold 2, hold more for 6 points, and then the 4 points for my tactic. So you will have a chance to score, but obviously not a lot of flexibility left with just 1 unit. So yeah, we'll see what you can do and jump into Ogor Mawtribes turn 4.
Okay, so I have one tactic that I can do, which is take their lands. And I will do it on that piece of terrain there.
Right by my Archregent.
Exactly. I have no hero face. Okay, so into movement.
And then I will spend my last command point to redeploy my Archregent. For 6.
Oof, bigger deploy there. And then I will attempt to charge with the Gluttons for like a 12-inch charge. I don't. We will use a CP to redo it, but it's not enough. I will still do 1, 2 in tactics, so still 8 points, but not going super great. Because if I could have come there, kill the Archregent, take that point, and if I can take a double, then I can come like somewhere else and take
reclaim, kill units. Obviously, that's just my advantage, is just having lots of little units where you have one big one that's trying to lumber around.
Exactly. So putting me still in the lead, but we'll see your 4 units to my 1. So
yes. So prio for round 5.
A 6
to a 5. So it's all up to you.
So Ogres won the priority for turn 5. So we're just gonna tech it out because I have an 8-point lead now. I already control 2 points. I can move on to another one just to secure it, for instance. It doesn't matter. I will score 4 points. I have no tactic that I can do. So that will be putting me to a 42. Which is...
Our math was a little off, and JF would actually have ended the game with 40 points.
So even if you come take this objective, the most you're scoring is 4.
It's 4.
And I can't deny it in any way unless you fail a charge and I make a 6-inch redeploy. But you can just run onto this objective and not even need to charge. So you're getting your 4. And then on my turn, again, I'd be able to take one of these objectives back for more. And either do take the flanks or inevitable demise to have 2 death units in your territory. Both of those are pretty guaranteed, which would score me 10. But because you got that 8-point turn on turn 4, you're gonna hold on to a 2-point lead. So a minor victory though for the Ogres.
Oh yeah, it's fitting. It's the Gluttons that stand tall at the end. They probably should have placed them a bit more central. They did well, like killing the horrors there, but then they were kind of out of for the rest of the game. But yeah, same thing with the Slaughtermaster. He was in the mob pit the whole game, so he didn't get to like ramp up his points for me killing Euro units. But in the same time, it had like an 18-inch bubble of like, you don't really want to come in nearby, and
and that hugely impacted not only my positioning but my deployment. That's why I went heavier to this side. But then I kind of didn't want to go to either side for one reason or another. So
it's a really good piece of terrain.
It's probably one of the best ones.
Oh yeah. The 2 Ogres are great, but that one I feel is like very, very good. Yeah, no, that was a very fun game. It's that, but you can see the strength of FEC is you still have a lot of units on, even though like I killed the Morbic Knights twice and I killed the Horror once, and then another time you bring like one back, another like with a spell, and then here if I killed them you could have brought them back and so forth. But lots of different tricks. We saw also some of the tools with the fights last with that Usharan bubble. Like had I knocked on that fights last, it could have just been game over right at the bottom of 2 or top of 2, right? So the fights last, like those mechanics really saved me and made it a fight, like we talked about earlier. It's nice to play Destruction. It's very different than the kind of armies I play, and it's refreshing, so I like them.
Lets you focus on the strategy rather than just like old Zinch of calculating what 8 spells you're going to cast each turn and that kind of thing.
And like placing yourself within 18 for the next turn, and then like that'll be it for us here, guys. A good bloody matchup. Both of our armies got to feed on flesh, so they're both happy and all full now. But thank you for inviting me again. That's super fun to come here. So
yeah, always a pleasure. But guys, we'll wrap things up there. Thank you for all your support, and we look forward to seeing you in another battle report.